Do you maybe suspect that your ankles are a little tight and it is messing up your squat? Well, if you do, this video is for you. That rhymed. That rhymed. Okay. Anyway, maybe I'll just carrying on. All right. So, what happens if your ankles are too stiff when you're doing a squat? Well, this is what happens. So, what you want to do is grab a couple like 5 or 10 pound plates, and you're going to stick your toes up on them like this. And I want you to try to do a squat like this. And what you're going to find is it feels pretty terrible. What this is doing is basically replicating what it's like if your knees cannot travel very far forward in a squat, i.e. if your ankles are kind of stiff in that position. It's really difficult to get down. And if your ankles are already pretty tight, this will just be a complete disaster. Then what you want to do is go ahead and flip around the other way. You're going to put your heels on here, and you're going to try a squat and see how that feels. And again, if your ankles are pretty stiff, that is going to feel like magical relief in your squat, and it's going to make it feel so much more natural and so much easier. If you don't really notice any difference between this and your regular squat, chances are you don't have a stiff ankle problem. But essentially in our squat, right, our knees need to be able to travel a certain amount forward so that our hips can go down straight in between our legs. If they can't travel forward, my hips have to go way back and I get pitched over and I get into this really ugly looking squat that's very difficult to do under load, and it just feels very unnatural. So if that is a problem for you, you can work on a bunch of ankle mobility drills, and you can Google. I've done lots of videos on that, as have many other people. You can also temporarily elevate your heels like this, right? And that works great. And then the other thing that you can potentially do is take a little bit of a wider stance if that kind of works for your hips and the rest of your body, right? The wider the stance that I have, the less my knees need to travel forward in order for me to squat, right? So here, my knees didn't really travel forward at all, but I can still squat down, get my hips going straight down, and stay relatively vertical in that position. Where if my feet are completely narrow, then my knees have to travel quite a bit forward in order for me to go down. So that's what it looks like if your ankles are too tight when you squat, and a couple ideas for some quick fixes.